realistically, if they offer you the job or if they offer you the scholarship, they want you there. So take the day, take the 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, the one day or a week won't kill you.
Yeah, whatever it is. Take some time to think, contemplate what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go. And then if that's the best choice for you, because those are important decisions. Where you're going to work, where you're going to go to school, that has a big impact on our lives.
I've had people here, and you already answered the question. I was going to ask you, did you go on a visit? Because I've had athletes sit right there where you're sitting, and I'll ask them, did you visit? They're like, no, I just signed over the phone, or I just signed and that's it. I'm like, bro, you can't just blindly accept something just because it's your first offer, just because. So I think that's great advice for young athletes, is just wait it out, hold your water. In the moment, your emotions are flying. You're like, oh my God, the mountain, the equipment. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, you're already saluting.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome to episode 12 of 31 Vision Podcast. For those of you that are first-time viewers, our podcast is aimed for high school athletes that are not sure what to do during or after high school to play college sports. So I bring on former college athletes or current college athletes to tell their story, the good and the bad, so you can learn from it. We also bring people of different career paths, so you can, explore your options after you get out of school, whether it's high school or college. So without further ado, my bro, introduce yourself.
My name is Christian Dominguez. 31 years old. Was born in New York, but raised here in Miami, Florida, man.
I already learned something new about you.
Yeah, man. So growing up, I played soccer and baseball. Soccer was the first thing I got into.
Typical Hispanic.
Yeah. Second grade. Got into soccer, played soccer. My mom's Colombian, so that was like an easy go into that. And then my dad's Dominican, so once soccer season was over, baseball.
Pick up a bat.
Yeah. So I played soccer and baseball growing up all the way up to high school, honestly. I played flag football once when I was, I think, 5th grade, but didn't really catch my attention. I was really into soccer and baseball, so I stuck through that. Funny story, Eric Laura. Okay. A lot of us know Eric Laura. I used to play baseball with him, and his dad was like always talking to my mom, always like, hey, have you ever thought of putting your son in football? Like he'll be great in football. His size, his speed, he'll be good at football. And then, my mom, Hispanic, coming from Colombia, American football, that's too rough.
Like, it's not even the real football. Like, what are you talking about?
It's too rough. She was like, nah, and I don't have the money for it. So Laura's dad offered to pick me up, take me home, pay for the practices, pay for the gear, the whole 9. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. You just answer the phone and I'm there to pick him up.
You saw the potential, man.
Yeah. And then my mom said no.
Oh my God. Come on, mommy. ¿Por qué eres así?
Yeah,
you're so overprotective. My mom was the same way.
Yeah. So she didn't let me play. She was like, no. And then that's when she put me in flag for that one season. Didn't turn out
Scratch
too well.
the itch.
Yeah. Then kept playing baseball and soccer. Finished playing soccer in middle school. I focused on baseball. High school, started playing baseball. Freshman year, sophomore year, tried out for the team.
And what high school is that?
Ferguson.
Okay.
Sophomore year, tried out for the team. Didn't make the team. So
this is baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, damn, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'd always play pickup football in the park with my friends or in the street and stuff like that. So one of my friends was like, hey, man, try out football, dude. It's spring football my freshman year, so going into sophomore year. Finally convinced me, let's go play football. So I was like, all right, cool. Kind of went up to my mom like, hey, I'm playing football. Like, here, sign the waiver,
I'm doing it. I'm not asking you anymore. I'm a big boy.
Sign the insurance, I need to get a physical, like I'm playing. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I want to play. She's like, I'm not going to the games. I'm not doing anything.
I'm against it.
Yeah. Like, that's your responsibility. You got to do it. You got to go to practice. You got to wake up. You got to get your gear. Like, I don't want you to play. So like,
you're on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. So sophomore year, I start playing spring ball, and I kind of picked it up quick. I was a bigger kid, faster than most, so like it was easy to pick up. And then,
what did you play in high school? Receiver or something else?
So when I started at receiver.
Okay.
Ferguson, we ran a wing tee, triple option.
Awful.
Yeah, so it wasn't very beneficial for a receiver. So I ended up moving to kind of like a slot back.
Okay.
So that's what I played. Sophomore year, did JV, played that slot back, and outside receiver, got moved up. And when I moved up, didn't touch the field my sophomore year. Okay. I was kind of a scout team guy.
Yeah.
We were playing Sunset. Okay, Sunset has a really fast running back. Chris, play running back. We're playing Varela. They have a really fast slot receiver. Chris, go play slot receiver. So honestly, that's kind of where I got my start. So, like one thing I can tell athletes right off rip, if you don't like where you're at, if you're not starting, if you're on the bench, if you're scout team, that's your time to shine.
Yep.
That's the time to grind. That's the time to prove it. Because you initially go against the ones,
yep.
right? If you're scout team offense, you're going against the ones
defense.
Yep. Right. So, me being like, I guess, naive to sports or to football, I was like, all right, cool. Like, what do I got to do? Just go be fast. Cool.
All right.
So that's kind of how I got my start as a running back, because I had to run scout team offense. So
with terrible blocking, no help.
Yeah. So then, I'm a sophomore. And then I feel like the seniors, when I was in high school compared to the seniors now, were completely different.
Different animals, bro.
Yeah, man.
They're like grown men when I was in high school.
Yeah, man. My sophomore year, the seniors, we had our guard and our tackle were like 6'3", 6'4", 250, 260. Our linebackers were 6 feet, 220, 230, like big dudes. And I'm like this 5'9", 180 pound, like.
And to you, that's small. To me, that's what I graduated at. I'm like, thank God I got to 180, 170.
Yeah, so I felt like this little Jesus lizard running, like trying to like scramble for my life. But, like that's where I got my start, like here are all these ones. And then there's this little flaquito just running through everybody, running past
fearless.
Everybody. Yeah, so, that sophomore that sophomore year that I was scout team, dude, that's where I got, like earned all my tick.
And I'm sure that made you really well-rounded too, like not being like a one-trick pony and you having to be a different player every week to give the defense a look.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, to piggyback what you were saying, also when a player's on a scout team, nothing pisses off a coach more than you half-assing on the effort because we're counting on you. Like you said, you're mimicking the best player on the other team. So if you're going half-ass, you're not giving the defense a good look. The coach is like, why we have this guy here? But if you're making plays, we're like, yo, put that guy again, every week,
Yeah. So it's it's great to work on, yourself, but it's also great because you give your actual defense, your starters, a really good look.
Yep.
So it was really good for me. And then I think it really benefited me because, starting in my high school offense, it was just wing T.
Yeah.
When I had to do that scout team, dude, I learned to run a draw play. I learned to run counters. I learned to run, stretch, power, all these different, kind of plays and running styles and these different things that I wasn't learning running through our traditional offense. So I think that was pretty good. So sophomore year finished, junior year went in, and I was, that starting slot back, starting receiver, got a lot of tick, got a lot of touches. So it was good. Went into my senior year, like so recruited, not too big, but I had scored.
Was it still the wing T?
Yeah.
It's hard to come out as a receiver though with that system, man.
Yeah. So I got a lot of my highlights through being that wing back, that slot back, reverses, stretches, stuff like that. Then coming into senior year, we kind of had that same kind of mentality, same kind of offense, but through running scout team, the coach finally was like, hey, let's run like I formation. Let's see how you do.
Let's get with the times. Yeah. Let's stop running this antique offense.
Pretty much. So then we kind of shifted more to a traditional. We still had the wing T and stuff like that, but we were in a lot of I formation. So I was, the back. So my senior year, I only played five games because I ended up getting hurt. But in those 5 games, I balled out, man. I did really well. I think my best game was against Sunset. I had like 230
Nice.
something rushing yards.
Nice. Went off.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, and I was playing safety. So
Nice.
it was pretty intense. So my senior year, about midway through the season, I was pretty much not leading, but I was in the top of our district. I think the only one beating me was Lamar Miller.
Oh, yeah. I played against him every year. Yeah. Lamar Miller, if you don't know who that is, he went to UM. And then after that, he went to, where did he end up going?
He played for the Texans, I believe it was.
He played for some years. Yeah. So, yeah, he was an animal.
So he was the only one that was leading me in pretty much all the categories. I ended up breaking my collarbone. 5th game playing against Southwest. Yeah. I got a lot of touches, dude, in high school. And pretty much, I would like to say maybe the reason I got hurt was because I had so many touches. I mean,
they were overusing you, you think?
Yeah.
You're playing defense too.
Yeah. So, if I was in the backfield, it was a run play. If I was lined up at receiver, we were throwing the ball. So,
it was easy to key in on you too. If you're a defense, super easy to key in on you.
Super. I remember one year we played, my senior year, we played Homestead, and dude, it was shifting entire coverages too.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was in the backfield, safety dropped.
Load up the box.
Yeah. Backers were in the box, ready to go. If I lined up at receiver on the left side, corner would come down. Outside backer would shift over, and the safety. So it was.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. But, my coach, I don't know if it was confidence in me or just ignorance in like not wanting to change play calls or whatever schemes, but everything ran through me. So that game against Southwest, I got hurt. I already had like 10, 15 touches. So I got overused. And then once I got hurt, the offense changed. Now they were spreading the ball, receivers getting other touches, running backs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I got a little overworked. But, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having the touches,
Bet.
All right, I enjoyed
it. And you were also behind the 8 ball in terms of experience. Because I have this conversation with coaches a lot and parents like our moms that were very weary of putting their sons in football. If you start, what if my kids get hurt playing football? Well, yeah, but it's either going to happen in high school because people are teeing off on them that have like 10 plus years of experience, or they might get injured. They might not. Mm-hmm. If you start them like at between 6 years old to 10, 11, 12, whatever, maybe just middle school, give them that experience. So like maybe they're not as scared to get hit. Maybe they know how to tackle correctly and move their head out of the way, or these little things that when you're on a high school team, they're trying to get the best players to start and to win games. They're not kind of like in the hand holding business. And some of those coaches might not even know what they're doing anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I got thrown in like
the fire.
The fire. Like when I played high school, when that first time I put pads on in high school was the first time I put pads on like in my entire life. Yeah. I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then, so I was learning how to get hit, learning to hit people, learning like stiff arm, all this I was learning on the fly. So it was pretty cool. If I could do it again, I would start a little earlier. Yeah, but it was a great experience, and I thank my high school coach. He might not have been the greatest in scheme wise and stuff like that.
X's and O's.
Yeah, he was great in terms of teaching me life lessons, discipline, hard work, like you have to grind, right? Success doesn't come overnight. It's about working every single day diligently, and that stacks on each other, and that like equates, right? Getting better, or equates improvement, or getting better in your craft. Not like these short-term like
instant gratification. Yeah.
Correct. It's about grinding, right? Consistently, that leads to, the success or whatever goal you want to achieve. So out of high school, senior year, got hurt. The only team that recruited me was the Air Force Academy.
Okay. How'd you feel about that?
When I got there, when I got the offer, it was awesome. It's my first D1 offer.
Yeah.
Not coming from sports, I wasn't really, like in tune with that. I didn't know much about watching football, D1 sports or anything like that. So to me, that was great. This guy flew in from Colorado, you know, offered me all these things, flew me out to Colorado.
And don't they run the wing T? They run like that similar, or like they're like, we like guys like that.
Yeah. So, you know, it seemed perfect. This is the offense I run in high school. This is the offense they run. So it just seemed like a good fit, you know? And then my high school coach was like, hey, look, here's what I got, you know? And then, you know, thinking back in retrospect, I should have done more recruiting myself. I should have gone to more camps and stuff like that, which is something, you know, like I would like to touch on. If you're a high school athlete, man, don't rely on just your coach. Okay. Like you got to put in work as well, because at the end of the day, right, the kid that's going to go to school, the kid that's going to get the scholarship, the kid that's going to get the education, the kid that's going to be in this school for the next 4 years is you, not your coach. You know, so I think if, you know, one thing I could change is go back and me be more involved in like my recruiting process and looking for the schools that I want to go to, and then going to the camps, right? I just tried to play my 10 seasons, but you know, every high school player plays 10 seasons. So I wasn't doing anything extra to get myself noticed. I just played 10 games, you know, right? Every kid plays 10 games. So there's no difference between me.
Thousands of kids.
Yeah. And this kid, right? But the kids that went to camp, the kids that sent their own film out, the kids that sent those emails out, you know, they're the ones that got those extra looks because they did the extra steps. So, you know, I think it's a little easier now with Huddle and, and the programs they have now. But, you know, take your time, edit your Huddle video, you know, edit your highlight, put a bunch of good things. And also, like, get that whole game that you do very well at. Because, right, coaches do like to see your highlight, but coaches also do like to see a full game. Right?
A lot of people don't know that.
Let me see how, right, Christian Dominguez is playing on the plays he's not getting the ball, or the plays that the ball got thrown incomplete, or there was a sack or something, right? How's his character? How's his work ethic on the plays that he doesn't get the ball? Is he a guy that's just like, whatever, it's not coming to me, he's going to half-ass? Or is that a guy that's going to go out there 110% and block his butt off and like do the extra things that can make a play, you know, pop and stuff like that?
That's a great topic you touched on, because that's kind of how they see if you're a team player. Because a lot of coaches understand when you transition from high school to college, you're not the guy anymore. So it's very easy to play football when you're the guy, you know, but you got to buy into this system. But if you go into a college and, like you said, if you were just that guy that was like, I'm not getting the ball, so I'm going to half-ass this block, and then someone makes a tackle because of you, that's an issue, you know?
Yeah. And like you said, man, that transition, that from being that big fish to now you're just another little fish and you got to work your way up, that, you know, that can hurt a lot of people's egos and pride, and it can really like break you down. And if you don't have the discipline, the work ethic, the drive to grind through those tough times, you can see yourself leaving. So long story short, Air Force was pretty much the only D1 offer I got.
And can you explain what is attached to the Air Force commitment? Because I think a lot of people here do not know what Army, Navy, and Air Force. It's not just football. So can you explain on that?
Yeah. So, so when you get a scholarship to a service academy, right, it's a scholarship, right, because you don't have to pay anything up front, but how you pay for it is in your service years after. So, they usually give you kind of like a grace period. So when you go there, you have to, well, at least when I was there, the Air Force Academy had to your first day of your junior year, right? So you can go your freshman and sophomore year, but once you arrive to school, that first day for your junior year, you were committed to 4 to 5 years of service after you graduate.
Once you're 2 years in.
Yes.
Okay.
So once you can
get your AA or whatever, the first 2 years.
It's a little different in the service academy. It's not like an AA, but once you do those two, like lower class,
like
years,
general stuff.
That junior year, you come to class, you check in, do your first day, committed.
4 or 5 years.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, 4 years of service in whatever field you choose. And it's not like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to go serve 4 years back home in Miami. No,
that's not how that works.
Yeah, you know, it's
your life is in their hands now.
Yeah, you go 4 years wherever they want to ship you, you know, and it's whatever you agree to. So if you're a weapons technician or whatever, communications, and they need someone to do that in South Dakota, congrats.
Pack your bags.
Yeah, you're a South Dakota native or whatever it is. Yeah, man. So, so Air Force Academy, that's where I accept my offer. I go do the visit. It's wonderful. They show me the giant stadium, the locker room, you know, the whole nine. Here's, you know, the equipment room. You get to pick anything from here. We give you this paper, and then they give you this little, it's a whole like piece of paper with all the gear.
Okay.
And then you just check off what you want in your locker every day. And every day, a new set of whatever is in your locker. So you can write 20 arm sleeves and 20 little bicep bands and whatever. Right. And every day you come into your locker and that's what was going to be there. And
so what was your mindset at this point? Were you like, I'm all in for this?
Yeah, I was like gung ho, like, dude, look at the stadium, look at all this, like, hell yeah, like, I'm in here, you know, like, dude, who doesn't want to be D1? Who doesn't want to be, you know, getting all the free gear and in the top-notch facilities and the training facility, like everything. They had the whirlpools, they had the saunas, the cold, everything.
It's hard not to be impressed by that, bro.
Yeah, man, the giant weight room. I remember when they took us on the visit, the team was actually working out. And what was crazy to me was it was football, right? But it was ran like a military service. So like they were all doing shoulder press, right? But you know, you kind of think every group is on their own rhythm. No, man, it was everyone in line. All right, first person up, boom, down. And like the whole team was repping whatever weight they had on cadence.
Okay.
You know,
as a team.
So you're like, damn, this is like dope, bro.
One thing I will say about those military teams, sometimes they're in games they have no business being in, like against other teams that are like football schools. Mm-hmm. And the best thing that I can attest to those kind of people is you just said it, bro. Like they really do work as a unit. They might not have the most talented people because they don't want to sign up for like that 6-year deal, even though there are major benefits to it. But they're in games. Sometimes I'm like, the only reason they're in this game is because they're super physical, they're in shape, and they're disciplined.
Discipline, dude. Discipline.
Takes you far.
Yeah, if everyone does their part, bro, it's
be surprised.
Amazing. Yeah, man.
You see that ugly wing tee, you're like, how is this working, bro? And it's like a 9-3 game or like 11, like a weird score too. You're like, how are they in this game?
Yeah, man. Discipline. Everyone does their part.
They're chippy.
Yeah, bro. So, you know, I got sold on it. Sold on the gear, sold on, and the Air Force Academy is in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Okay. So you're literally on the top of the Colorado mountains. Like you literally drive up. It's breathtaking, man. Like you look out, you see all Colorado, dude. The weather's nice. Animals, there's deers, mountain lions. Like
big culture shock for a Miami boy.
Yeah, I was also freezing, you know. But it was cool, man. You know, and they do a great job of selling it to you.
Of course, no. A recruiting process is always like, you know, stroking your ego, you know, pulling out all the bells and whistles for sure. So
yeah, and then, you know, they're smart. They don't show you like the drill or, you know, like them kicking the door open at 4:30 or whatever the case may be. So like they're smart about it. So I was all gung ho, man. So came back from that visit. I'm like, yeah, man, that's where I want to go.
Did you sign on the visit or you said you'll let them know?
Yeah, I said I'll let them know.
Okay.
Which honestly I think is the smartest thing.
Yeah.
You know, always think about it. Always take the time to like reminisce, think about what you went through, think about what you want, your goals, and kind of like where you want to get to before you make an important decision. And I think that goes with signing with a school or, you know, accepting a job offer.
Yep.
You know, like I see it now, you know, I offer people a position. A lot of them say just like
in the moment.
Yeah. But, you know, I recommend saying, okay, you know, I would like to sit, review all the information, come back, and then I'll let you know, because realistically, if they offer you the job or if they offer you the scholarship, they want you there. So to take the day, take the 2-3 hours.
Yeah, the one day or a week won't kill you.
Yeah, whatever it is. Take some time to think, contemplate what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go. And then if that's the best choice for you, because those are important decisions. Where you're going to work, where you're going to go to school, that has a big impact on our lives.
I've had people here, and you already answered the question. I was going to ask you, did you go on a visit? Because I've had athletes sit right there where you're sitting, and I'll ask them, did you visit? They're like, no, I just signed over the phone, or I just signed and that's it. I'm like, bro, you can't just blindly accept something just because it's your first offer, just because. So I think that's great advice for young athletes, is just wait it out, hold your water. In the moment your emotions are flying, you're like, oh my God, the mountain, the equipment, oh my God, yes. Yeah, you're already saluting.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it is. You should never make decisions when you're too high or when you're too low. So when you're too happy, too elated, don't make that decision. Also, don't make a decision to do something when you're angry, frustrated, or like super, upset about something, man. So, take the time, cool off, contemplate, and then make a decision.
Sorry, go here.
No, go ahead.
So as far as education wise, I'll give you my 1s and 2s, but were you prepared educationally for college coming out of high school?
So yes and no. I would say yes, because going to school, high school here, I was in the IB program, always in gifted.
And so what is that, IB?
IB is the International Baccalaureate Program. So think of like AP. Okay. But like my whole schedule was like that.
Nice. So you got credits for college and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you graduate high school with your IB diploma, you're essentially like a sophomore, junior going into.
So it's like a dual enrollment kind of. Oh,
so you get a bunch of credits. Yeah.
So you start off college with your AA already. Oh, that's a huge advantage. So you can get your master's in the same time you get your bachelor's. Wow, that's awesome.
So I was in high school, I was in that program. So the level of work, the intensity, the amount of it, like I was used to that.
Yeah, you didn't have a traditional route for sure.
And then me as a person, I was kind of a kid where if I sat in class and paid attention, right, I didn't goof off, I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't like talking. If I sat there and I was engaged in the lesson, I didn't have to go home and study or do homework because I was so engaged that I learned the stuff.
Yeah, the information sank in.
So in high school, I didn't do a lot of studying. I wasn't an straight A student. I was an A, B, and maybe 1 or 2 C's. My mom didn't like C's. When I got a C, I would get punished or whatever the case may be. So A's and B's. So when I got to college, like, I was kind of ready for the material, but I wasn't ready for the material I didn't understand. You get me?
So a little overwhelming.
Yeah. And then, this is the first time I'm alone, right? Mom's not there. Mom's
setting the standard for you.
So I'm living on my own. I'm, running my own thing. I decide when I get up. I decide when I go to sleep, kind of the whole nine. So when it came to those classes that I didn't understand, like it was difficult for me to like sit there and start studying.
Yep.
So those classes really kicked my butt.
Yeah.
Like, and in the service academies, you're not taking normal classes. So I was taking chemistry, organic chemistry. I was taking physics. I was taking calculus, pre-calculus, like, all of that.
Yuck.
Yeah. Because you're going to school, but you have to understand that you're in an academy. So you have to learn the things they need you to learn.
Yeah. So whatever you want.
Yeah. So that to me was a shock. And then I remember getting my grades back the first time and I was like,
this ain't it.
Holy like smokes. Like, like you got to wake up. And then luckily the service academies, which a lot of colleges and universities have, they have the, kind of like the tutoring sessions, kind of go sit with the professor. So that became like my lifeline,
That's what saved me too.
Yeah. My open periods, because at the service academy, it's kind of like a high school in that you have periods.
Okay.
So like,
Super organized.
Yeah, you don't get much free time. It's pretty like scheduled out for you, and we can get into the basic training in a little bit.
Definitely.
It's very scheduled. So, like think of like in high school, how you have 8 periods, it's kind of like that. This period, you got to go to class, but whatever. And then this period is for lunch. This period is for athletics. So at the service academy, everyone had to do athletics, right? Okay. So during this athletic block, you either go to your team sport. If you're on the football team, you go to football practice. Volleyball, you go to volleyball practice. But those kids that were either not in season or not at the service academy to play a sport would do intramurals.
Oh, so you have to do something.
Yeah. So it was like a scheduled PE session, where they'll be playing team sports, or they'll be doing, training, or they'll be doing the fitness assessment test. So like they were always like doing something. So those open blocks that I had, technically, I would spend them in a teacher's office, like getting that.
Which isn't much time.
Yeah.
Once you account for everything.
Getting that extra work, like, oh my God.
I only have this much time.
15 minutes and now I got to go like drill for 45 minutes. So like, let me get this extra work in. And those open office, I think it's called, those open office times, that's where I was able to like, whoa, okay, like, let me catch back up. Okay. Now, I'm not in high school anymore. It's not, rainbows and butterflies. It's not easy. Like, okay.
It's not your mom getting you out of bed. Hey, Poppy, wake up.
Yeah, you got to do your homework, right? So it's not, it wasn't like that anymore. So those open offices were what let me get back into like getting good grades or getting grades where I was like, wow, like.
I would say there's pros and cons to that, because pro is you're giving a young kid, like an 18-year-old structure that he or she definitely needs. Because in other schools, you have those free blocks you were explaining where there's a lot more free time. People aren't drilling, they're not doing certain things. So I can say that there's pros and cons, so because if you were going to F off now, you really don't have the time to, so that's good that you learn how to time manage like as soon as possible.
Yeah. So I think that to me was the hardest part, but that was like the most beneficial. So
for you,
what I got out of the service academy was discipline, organization, and time management. They expected us to do so much, right? That you had to get organized. You had to get good with
sink or swim.
Yeah. Because if not, like you were getting drilled.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I was at the service academy for a year. And then, speaking to the advisors, the whole thing, education wise, like they don't have sports management, which is what I wanted to study. I wanted to go into pro sports, either be an agent or work something with sports. So, speaking to the advisors, they didn't have that. So, when we came out with the plan, I would have to study regular business, right, for the 4 years, get a business degree, serve 4 to 5 years after, and then go back to school to get a business, sports management or a sports.
Long route.
Yeah. So right there, I was like,
deal breaker.
So that to me was kind of like what kind of like pushed me over to like, maybe the service academy isn't.
So correct me if I'm wrong. They gave you like an 8 to 10 year route kind of thing versus you coming out with the IB. You can get that in 2 years. Yeah, that's a no brainer, bro. That's 8 to 10 or 2 to 4. That's
yeah. So when I was over there, school wise, I was like, nah, man, like this is a cool experience. It's great. But education wise, not for me. Like it's not really the route I want to take. Do I want to, serve 4 to 5 years to then go back to school?
Yeah, so it's hard to get back in the mix once you're out of it.
Yeah, man. So it was very difficult, but when I look back, I feel like leaving the service academy was the best choice for me.
And I felt like it was a great stepping stone to what was the next school you went to?
I ended up going to Heidelberg in Ohio. So
Ohio's cold. I was in Ohio before.
yeah. So let's backtrack a little. One of the things you spoke about was not being the big fish anymore. So senior year, I'm the big fish. Offense runs through me. I get hurt. Now I'm on this break, which to me was the craziest thing because had to get the surgery, was out 6-8 months, Then I got to learn to lift again, regain all the muscle, right, in my shoulders, in my bicep, tricep, chest, the back, like the whole thing, start from scratch. And then, finally, like, get, my weight back up, get into, like, football shape. And then
easier said than done.
Yeah. And then now I'm going into, college football, right? Having not been hit in almost a whole year.
Yeah.
So like, dude, I was
it's a lot nervous. Of transitioning. Yeah.
Yeah. Nervous wreck. And then when I got dropped off, so my mom took me to school, right? So you get there, still like they sell it to you great, awesome experience, parent day, showing my mom the school, showing her everything, awesome, sweet. Then they're like, all right, guys, this is where we say goodbye to your parents, right? So
everybody starts boo-hooing. Like, oh my God, I love you, Mom.
Right? So they get these Greyhound coach buses, right? They come, right? They load us up on the bus, right? We sit down and we're chilling, waving out of the window to your mom, right? And none of us notice the drill sergeant sitting in the last row of the coach bus, right? So we're all there, like chilling, dude. And I remember I'm like slouching, like, bye, Mom, this is such a great experience, right? And then the dude stands up and he goes, all right, everybody, I want you to sit straight up, sit on the front 1/3 of your seat and look forward now. And I was like, what's going on? What the?
He was here the whole time?
And then he's like, what? I guess you guys can't hear me. The front 1/3 of your seat right now. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? And I'm on the front 1/3, right? Straight as can be. He's like, I want your hands, both hands on your knees and don't turn. And we're all like this, like, what? Who the hell is yelling at us, bro? And then he goes, now I want all of you to look right back outside the window and wave at your parents one more, because this is the last time you'll see or hear from them in over a month. So everybody turns,
Candela.
Waves. And sure enough, that was the last time I saw or heard my mom in a whole month, dude. It was crazy. So boom, right? They drive us off. They take us to kind of like where all the equipment is, right? Dude, and military started, right? All in a single file line, right? And then I packed pretty lightly, right? So I just had like this one little maleta. But there was girls that had 2 or 3 bags and they were like, grab your suitcase and walk up the mountain.
Oh my God.
Dude, so I was like,
thank God.
Yeah, right. I had my book bag and then a little maleta and I'm like going up the mountain, dude. And then I saw these girls, like these volleyball girls from California.
You don't know what they got into.
Luggages and those poor girls like struggling up the mountain, dude. So we finally got to the base where they had all the equipment. They give us the giant military duffel bags, huge things, put it on your back, and then they just start stuffing. They stuffed all our gear. So our boots, our pants, like the military, the camo pants, the camo shirts, the whole nine, our dress pants, our formal wear, like everything they're giving us in these giant bags, our school books, like they're loading.
That bag is so heavy.
Huge, dude, huge. I looked like I was backpacking through Europe for 6 months. And then I have my maleta and the book bag I brought.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. So then you're going through this whole thing. They take you to the barber, which is not even a barber. It's a bunch of
chopping everything.
A bunch of sergeants there, and you're in a chair. And then like the dudes to be jerks, they're like, what do you want? And then like some people are like actually giving like,
I want a one with a little fade.
Taking the whole thing off. I'm like, damn, man. Like,
brutal.
why did they show me this? You know, and then all right. So after that, then you have to get shots. The most savage thing I've ever seen in my life. Those doctors, bro, you know, you get a shot like this. Those doctors were holding those syringes like
they look forward to this all day.
Yeah, like bam, bam. I was like, So when, you know, I got up to, you know, I'm next. The guy grabs the syringe like that and he goes like that. And like, I was like, and he's like, relax, Tiger, it's just a shot. Dude. I was like, bro, what is this? What is
Welcome
this?
to the military, son.
Yeah, bro. So then after that, boom, you know, we go through that for like 2 hours. Then, you know, they take us to eat our first meal. Same thing. You're on the front 1/3 of the chair, right? You have your plate in front of you, hands on your knees, right? Your hand only comes out to grab the fork, put a spoon, like a mouthful, put it down. You put your hand back down, then you can start chewing.
What?
Dude, it was the craziest experience ever, bro. Craziest. And then
they had to condition you guys.
Bro. Then they give you like 90 seconds or something like ridiculous to eat, right?
All your food?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then like, so what do you think? All right, if I only have like this amount of time, I'm just going to scarf as much as possible, right? No, but you can't because you got to move so slow, right? And then you're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to put like giant mouthfuls. Oh, right. So what they do is when they see you put that giant mouthful, they'll come to your table and then they'll call you at attention and ask you a question.
Oh my God.
So you're at attention. Mm-hmm. And then, what are you, an animal? Why do you have so much food in your mouth? And then you'd get grilled, bro. So it was like, dude, it was crazy. And then, you know, like, and then like I sit back and I think about this. I'm like, dude, how did I eat like that for this whole time? Like, it's crazy. So like, you know, when I like that experience gave me like a newfound respect for people in the military. Mind you, it's not always like that, but it's got to be like that for a certain amount because, dude, they need people to be like die hard, like for this country, for this mission, like nothing else matters. So that whole process, like breaking you down like that is essential because they need
soldiers.
Yeah. You know, like little robots that are going to follow the commands, you know, which to me is crazy, you know? So eat that first meal. Like, I'm like, bro, what the hell?
What did I sign up for?
Yeah. And then like, you know, we get back to where our bunks are going to be. And then they split us up. And, you know, this, you know, I'm grateful for this. For boot camp, they put me with some kid named John Kelly. Okay. Right? Basic white name. So, kid from, I think he was from like Idaho, Illinois, something like that. Okay. But he was at the service academy to become an officer.
Does that mean there's something higher?
Yeah. Okay. So when you're in the military, there's the enlisted, which are like the normal soldiers, right? They're everyday soldiers, and then the officers. Okay. So think of officers like upper management, right? Like the manager, the supervisor, right? Those are the officers. So officers have a lot more pull or a lot more status than regular enlisted, you know? And then the way you can become an officer is either officer training school, going through a service academy, or like ROTC in like other schools. So, you know, like to become an officer, it's pretty prestigious. You know, I don't remember the percentage, but like once you're an officer, like the lowest officer, you're above, I want to say more than 40-50% of the military already.
Wow.
Yeah. So
big jump.
Yeah. So, you know, this guy Kelly, you know, Cadet Kelly or whatever.
Cadet Kelly.
He was there because he wanted to be in the military. He wanted to be an officer. So he was already enlisted and then joined the service academy. So this guy was, you know, he had been through the military. And dude, he literally took me under his wings. You know, the reason I survived, the reason I got through like the military portion of it was because of him. You know, they put us together. You know, he's teaching me how to make my bed.
So you don't get yelled at every 10 seconds.
Yeah. So to make your bed, to fold your clothes, like everything is super detail oriented. Okay, your clothes, when you fold your shirt, right? It's not like the medio fold that you do now and you throw in your drawer. No, when I folded my shirt had to be 6 inches wide by 12 inches like long, right? And when they would come do inspections, they would bring a ruler, and if it was off by half an inch, a few centimeters, they would say it's wrong, and they would flip your drawer. Like literally, you would spend 2 hours prepping or 3 hours prepping for this inspection. And then if it was off by a centimeter, half an inch, just everything. Throw it out of your drawer, start over.
Damn.
All right. So this guy showed me how to fold my clothes, how to fold my socks, how to roll up the belt, how to fold my bed. Because they would come and they would look for the 90-degree angle and there couldn't be any wrinkles on your bed, like the whole nine. This guy showed me everything. For the first week of boot camp, I didn't sleep on my bed. I had a bed there and it was there and it was just folded.
Perfectly made.
Perfectly made. So that no matter when they came in, my bed was folded and I was Gucci, right? There was people that would sleep in their bed. Boom, boom. They would knock, like, inspection 2 minutes. And these people
scrambling
to make their bed. And I would just get up off the floor like, bed made. Right? So those are
loophole
little,
in the system.
Yeah, those are little tips and tricks the dude showed me, you know, like he would always show me these little things that, you know, help me get through it. You know, he helped me. He was like, dude, like, you know, when we sit, when we march, you know, he taught me how to salute properly. Like, this dude was literally like
your savior.
Is my fairy godmother. Like, this guy was the one that like helped me out. So it was a pretty cool experience, you know, go through boot camp. This guy showed me everything. You know, going through the training. This is the first time I shot a gun. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, the military is something, you know, for all the young people out there watching. If you're considering the military, do your research. You know, really look it up. Look up what you want to do in the military and understand that you have to be all in. You can't be 1 foot in, one foot out. No,
life would be miserable.
Awful, you know.
I have a question. If you would have gotten with an advisor on your visit, and if they would have told you we don't have sports management, would you have joined anyways? Or
prior, probably. I was just so like
you were just down for it. Gotcha.
That I was going D1.
Yeah.
My school, Ferguson, never had like any football player go Division 1A. We had one kid go 2 years before me go Division 1 AA. He went to Stony
Which is
Brook.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, Stony Brook. So dude, I was so gung-ho on being like the first D1 athlete.
That's a great sentence, right?
Yeah, man. So I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna do
right. I only did it in 5 games. Suckers.
Yeah, bro. So I was like, you know, and it was a dream, man. Getting flown out, not having to pay, you know.
Yeah.
So it was, I probably would have gone either way. But like I said, man, it was a great experience. You know, I learned a lot. I built some great relationships with people there, talked to some people still from there. And then it showed me discipline, dude.
The highest level of it.
Yeah, it really did. And it also showed me that working together, right? A group is better than one individual. You can get so much more accomplished as a team than an individual. Sometimes, you have to be an individual, do your things on your own. But dude, it is so much more rewarding, so much easier. And you can, like, the success can multiply so much more if you do it in a team or a group. So it was a great learning experience. And like, I wouldn't change it, man. I wouldn't.
So let's talk about Heidelberg. So how did that go? You transitioned from something that's as tight as can be, crazy as discipline, to something to where maybe not for a high school athlete going to college, but from someone going from military to regular college, you're like, oh, I have all this free time now. This is really different.
Yeah. So finish at the academy, come home. I went to FIU for a year. Dude, that was like the worst year for me. I wasn't playing.
Did you party a lot and just have fun, or you had to work?
I didn't party too much. I did go out, but it was the worst for me in the aspect of, dude, I was watching everyone else play football.
Oh,
you know, and I would say like I got sort of into a depression. I gained a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
I was playing flag, but it wasn't like scratching that same itch. You know, we play flag a lot now, but dude, it's not the same.
That's because we saw it through. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't scratching that itch. And then I had a buddy, actually two buddies that were actually up there in Ohio, in Heidelberg. They were playing. I spoke to them, told them to speak to the coaches, that I was looking for somewhere to play. They reached out to me, boom, signed, out.
So at this point, what, you were a junior or senior in school, but only a junior or sophomore in football? Something like that?
I was a sophomore. Because the academy, since the academics is so like strict, not all my IB credits transferred. So it was,
gotcha.
It was a little sucky in that term that not all my credits transferred, but it was cool. Like I said, great experience. And then some of the credits from the Air Force Academy transferred to FIU. So coming to FIU as a sophomore, finished that. So I got to Heidelberg. Going into like my junior year.
Okay. Was your eligibility the same or was it different? Was it 4 years since you never played or?
Correct. So my eligibility was a little bit different. So when I got to Heidelberg like as a technically freshman, because the year at the academy was kind of like a redshirt year. So it was pretty cool. Got to Heidelberg, moved in with my high school quarterback, Sebastian, and it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience. I was once again on my own, now in the middle of nowhere of Ohio. We were like 2 hours away from any major city. So
civilization.
2 hours from Cleveland, 2 hours from Columbus, 2 hours from Michigan. So like middle of nowhere, literally. So then I get to Heidelberg and I'm once again not in football shape. I'm fat. I'm like, you know, close to 225, 230. You know, yeah, huge. I get there. And once again, you know, you're not the big dog anymore. Coach is looking at me like, goddamn, Christian, you gonna play receiver for us? You're gonna play left tackle. You know, so that was once again like a grind, you know, figuring out, you know, what do I gotta do? Okay, boom, let's go. Grind, lose some weight. So my first year in Ohio, didn't play. I played, you know, scout team, that whole thing. And then that's when I really had to turn up. So going into my sophomore year at Heidelberg, my best friend Sebastian, which is also my roommate, the quarterback, he says, "Hey, I'm not gonna go back. You know, it's not for me,
right?
Whatever." So now I'm like,
"Where's your head at?"
Oh crap! Like for real, you don't want to go back? He's like, "Nah, you know, I got to do this, that, and the other." And then honestly, my chances of playing were a little bit better than his. It's a lot more difficult for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's one spot.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's the spot.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, man, it is what it is. I had created friends. When I was up there my freshman year, I was one of like 5 Hispanics.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah. One of 5 Hispanics. The other one was my roommate, Sebastian. And the other 3 were half like Hispanic. So one was half Mexican, one was half Puerto Rican. I don't know what the other one was, but none of them knew Spanish. So like, are you really Hispanic?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like you're like a computer with no internet. You can't do much, dude. Like, you know, so, you know, I go back, you know, he tells me he's not going to come back. So I'm like, you know, what am I going to do? I hit up the other Hispanic and I'm like, dude, look, Sebastian's not coming back. You know, like, what are you going to do? Do you have a roommate? Like, you know, let's do this. He's like, yeah, let's do it. Boom, cool. Move in with him. He's my boy, Jose Sanchez. Still talk to him now. Really good dude. You know, me and him bonded a lot, man. Great dude. Hope to have him at my wedding. Hope to be at his wedding. He's a great guy, man. So I roomed with him. So we're going into
So this is your senior year in the classroom and sophomore year in football.
No. Well, yes, technically, but since I was so advanced, I didn't take too many classes. I wasn't trying to finish too quick.
Okay.
So technically, I made it kind of like my junior year.
Okay.
Extended it. So me and him go in. All right. Now that I'm officially a wide receiver, I lost the weight. I stayed there for a summer, which honestly was kind of like the greatest, decision I could have made, because
that's another level of focus.
Yeah, every time I would come back, for vacation, the holidays, like you would go to the Grove, you would go to the Windward. Mm-hmm. So, I had made the decision to stay up there for a summer, and dude, crazy change. I went from 230 to 205, 210. I was living with my left tackle, which was like 6 foot, almost 300-pound dude, bro. And we would just, wake up, work out, go to work, come back, work out, chill. That's all we did for a whole summer. So, I don't know if you know what left tackles look like. The dudes are huge and very strong. So, like, I just wouldn't look at the weight, man. I would just
do what they did.
There was obviously when we would get to the later sets, he was way stronger. So I'm like, I'm done. But like for the most part, I wouldn't look at the weight. So, dude, my body changed a lot. And then, I spent a lot of time catching, working with quarterbacks and stuff. So going into, that next year of football, I was getting ticked. I was making progressions. And then the biggest thing for me was blocking. As a wide receiver, dude, I got on the field because of my blocking. I was obviously a lot bigger than or thicker than most of the corners. So, dude, I did really well blocking. And that's how I got on the field, Like those run plays, all right,
That's not time to take off.
Yeah. And I was pancaking people. I would get pancake awards with the linemen and stuff.
Guys, for those of you, that's a great thing to touch on. So for those of you that are battling for playing time, whether it's special teams or doing the little things when you're not getting the ball at a position like receiver, if someone like a coach is choosing between Chris and somebody else, and he sees that Chris puts in the work on the quote unquote off plays, he's going to play that person, because like we said earlier, that person buys into like the team model, trying to win. And nothing makes a run bigger when a running back starts breaking daylight than a receiver blocking downfield. A receiver blocking downfield will turn like a 5 to 10 yard run into like a big gash, like 20, 30, 40 yards, because that receiver's blocking that one guy to seal the edge and take it to the house, so something that's definitely valued.
Yeah, man. Honestly, so that year, we had our starter, the wide dude named Dante Dye, played in the NFL. Stud.
I met him when I trained.
Yeah,
he's a character. Yeah,
stud, super fast. But then there was the other wide out position, and I was battling a kid, and before the week before the season started, our wide receivers coach pulled me in, and he gave me the talk, and he explained to me that the reason I'm the starter was because of that. Right? The kid had a few more big plays than I did, but I was consistent. And he said that when I'm on the field, right, they don't have to switch or rotate players to get someone else to block.
Yeah.
Which is what they had to do with the kid.
And that can make you predictable too.
Mm-hmm. So, I earned my starting spot, not only because of how I played, but the little things that I did. I would go and make those extra blocks when other people would take the play off. I did a lot of special teams.
I always jumped on the field, special teams.
Yeah, I did punt and punt block. So those little things were what really got me, the edge over this dude I was competing with. So junior year, get a lot more tick, get a lot of playing time, and then we played in the Mount West Conference for Division III. So. I guess one of the harder conferences. We have Mount Union, John Carroll, so pretty good school.
Those teams always go deep in the playoffs. If not, they win it all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good conference. We saw a lot of good talent. So we did well that year. We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how many years. We did well. We actually hosted the playoff game, and then That's another story.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. We were up on this team like by 14, something like that, 21 at halftime. And
ouch. I've been there. Yeah. I've been on both ends of that.
Yeah, man. I know the play that sealed it, we had the team, we were still up by like 6-7, third and 35, and they converted. It was all downhill from there, yeah.